Sweet. We are officially live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chiropractic Compass podcast brought to you by the legendary Chiropractor online community. I'm your host, Johnny Ritter, and tonight we have a very special guest with us, a KTC master, Kairos training culture master, along with a source chiropractor out in Oakland, California, Dr. Jordan Fairley. He is a phenomenal doc. I met him at summer camp in Miami, which we had a blast there. We talked in the Starbucks line for probably way too long, and I was like, man, this is supposed to be the slowest Starbucks out there. But we had a great time. We connected. We bonded over a lot of things, and actually I reached out to Dr. Jordan about podcasting a little bit, and I'm so pumped for him. So be on the lookout for that whenever he drops that whole entire thing, I guess. I'm really excited for you, Doc. But without further ado, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and how you got really into chiropractic.
Yeah, man. What's up? Thank you so much for having me on. I have been appreciating all of your interviews so far, and I got to say, like, as a student, let alone like just as a doc or a human being, like you're absolutely crushing it, and your energy of positivity. And when we met in the Starbucks line, I thought you were about to say that we bonded over lattes, but we didn't bond over lattes. But it was a pleasure meeting you, and your energy is contagious, man. So I'm super stoked to be on here.
I appreciate that.
I'm, like you said, Dr. Jordan Fairley. My name hasn't changed. I'm from California. Practice at the Source Chiropractic in Oakland, California with a team of 6. So we got a badass team in deep Oakland. And from Northern California, but I don't know how much you want me to share, but I have some crazy stories.
Go as deep as you want, Doc. Go as deep as you want. Yeah, okay. Just share something fun, like what school did you attend? When did you graduate? Those kinds of things that are relevant to probably chiropractic students more so.
Yeah. So I graduated from Life West, so in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area. I graduated in 2015. So I've been in practice for a little over 4 years now, and I got into chiropractic schools through some huge life changes. All through like high school and college, I was always on the physical therapy path. So I was pre-physical therapy, pre-med. I was a distance runner, cross country and track my entire life, and really my entire life revolved around track and field. Like, no joke, as a kid, my summers were spent working on the track. My dad was a track coach. My dad was a cross-country coach. Our family vacations, we would have to look at every local track and college track around. The only magazines we had in our house were track and field magazines. So, like, that was my self-identity. So that's what I did in college. And with that, being an athlete, you have a ton of injuries that come from it. And so I had pulled hamstrings. I had sciatica going all the way down my leg, and pulled my hamstring in the national championship race on the second lap. I had, chronic Achilles tendonitis, all these different things that led me to pursue a profession in health. And so I was looking at athletic training, I was looking at physical therapy, and really there were a couple main instances that happened in my life. And I will share you just one of them, which is the biggest one of them, which was in 2011. I had just finished a cross-country race in Sacramento, and I was driving up to go meet my parents up in Quincy, so way up in the foothills, up in this canyon. I was driving up to go meet them for a backpacking trip, and every time I would get up to like 60 miles per hour, my car would start to shake all over the place, and it made some really loud noises, and it wasn't just from the boombox playing System of a Down, it was my car, something was going on, and all of a sudden there's like a bam! Huge bang. I'll never forget the sound. I crashed to the ground, and all of a sudden was going off into oncoming traffic, almost hit a car coming the other way, and the next thing I knew, I was driving off a 60-foot cliff.
Oh, wow.
Driving off a 60-foot cliff, and all I remember was, holy shit, I'm probably about to die. And I looked over at my brother, and the next thing I know, I got knocked out. My brother tells me I was knocked out for probably about 20 minutes, head on the steering wheel. We ended up hitting a tree, and then the backside hit in the bottom of this canyon. I don't remember like 2 hours worth of time, but what happened from that physically was I broke a whole bunch of ribs on this side, and my entire torso was twisted like this. I had whiplash, I had low back pain, I had all these physical ailments. So I literally like couldn't do anything. So I don't know if you've ever broken a rib, or for other people who are watching a broken rib, but if you have broken a rib, you literally can't breathe. Like you can't get into bed, let alone turn over in bed, let alone hug your girlfriend. Can't do anything. So at that moment, like I couldn't do the things that brought me joy and happiness and purpose. So I wasn't able to run, the one thing that I knew up until that entire point in my life. And so I lost my self-identity as a runner. Like my whole entire world was basically falling apart. And I knew from some past track injuries that like when I was in most pain, I went to a chiropractor. So I went to go to the chiropractor expecting, to get help right away. And instead, what he did was he looked at me in the eye as we sat down and looked past just my physical ailments. He told me, we're going to get you straightened out. We're going to get you out of pain, but ultimately I want to get you back to doing the things that you love. I was like, oh my God, like this is what I need, right? Yes, I want to get out of pain, but ultimately I want to get back to running. And so I actually started like consistent chiropractic care. And so my ribs healed, my torso untwisted, but my purpose and my self-identity untwisted. And I got back to who I was. And so I was able to see the differences between chiropractic, real chiropractic, long-term, like functional change, health chiropractic, and physical therapy. And so I started to ditch physical therapy, started to ditch the athletic training job I was doing. I started to see, okay, what is it going to require to go to chiropractic school? And so I applied, and if people know Dr. Brett Jones, Dr. Kate Jones was the person who was calling me on a daily basis to try to get me to enroll in chiropractic school. And so she's a very influential person. Has a lot of high energy like yourself, so a very attractive character, and so I went to chiropractic school. And I don't know how much you want to go through chiropractic school, but that was like the series of events that eventually got me down this path, man.
Awesome. That is so great to hear. I it's crazy listening to people's stories because everybody comes from a different story, and it's like it didn't take you, but it was like you flew off a 60-foot cliff, and that's how you're a chiropractor helping people become better versions of themselves functionally and structurally every single day of their lives. So that's amazing. I know I had a comment, time out real quick. I had a comment that the microphones, something wasn't it was quiet or something apparently on my end or something. Can someone comment if you're watching this and let us know if the microphones are working, I guess. I don't know. I'll try my best to do what I can here. But yeah, I can only do so much here. Say that again?
I can get closer to mine too.
I mean, I'm not sure what it is. Skype is sometimes pretty weird, but yeah, drop a comment if you can hear me say good, or if you can't hear, or if you can hear Dr. Jordan. Please let us know, because that's the problem with these live interviews is things can go wrong and technology happens. Sounds fine. Dr. Ian says, hey, Dr. Ian, how you doing? Thank you. And so with that, Doc, I want to go into the topics for tonight. And the topics really are for the chiropractic student, but also the chiropractor, right? Like how do chiropractors or chiropractic students rather become the best versions of themselves before they leave chiropractic school, right? Like that's what it's all about. So we're going to talk about how to crush it in clinic as a student, as well as how to succeed in business by 3 different things that Dr. Jordan's going to break down for us, all here on the Chiropractic Compass podcast. And with that being said, quick shameless plug, Doc, head to all you chiropractic students and viewers and replay watchers, head to thelegendarychiropractor.com now to check out everything chiropractic that we have to offer you. Awesome. So with that being said, Doc, I am going to turn my microphone up so that I have you on my speaker. So worst case scenario, it'll come through my microphone. If something's not going on correctly, who knows? But when Dr. Jordan starts talking, please let me know if you can hear him. I would greatly appreciate that. Doc, let's hop into how to crush it in clinic. What do you think about that?
Can you hear me now? Yeah. So I will say the same 3 principles for how to crush it in clinic are the same 3 principles to how to crush it in business. So just a little bit of a background. Most people who have seen me online have probably seen quite a few of the videos we've done. Like, I do social media marketing. I do online programming. I take people's visions and I turn them into something tangible that people can consume digitally. So that's like the main thing I do. Like, over the last 4 years, I've created over 1,200 online videos. And we've had, over 80,000 views in our online programs just in the last 12 months. So we do all these like social media and millennial type of marketing strategies, but those are the type of strategies that are constantly changing. So you could pour all of your ideas and creativity and thoughts into like, what is the next new cool thing? But really, the reality is it's like the same 3 principles for how to crush it as a student and how to crush it as a doc. And the 3 principles are to have an amazing product, to be a great communicator, and to have super efficient systems. Those are the 3 things. So regardless of what it comes down to, regardless of what business you look at, those are the 3 things for how to really be successful in business and how to really be successful for crushing a clinic, in my opinion.
Awesome. Yeah. And so I want you to break all 3 of those down for us in like, how do we get an amazing product? What do we know an amazing product is when we have it, right? And then how do we become an amazing communicator, and what messages are we supposed to be even talking about? Because we all know that a lot of us leave chiropractic school, especially the more philosophically sound schools, and we just word vomit 33 chiropractic principles onto our patients, and nobody wants that. Nobody needs that right away. And that's not how you're going to get clients or patients or patient members in your office. And then great systems. What kinds of systems can you share with us? How do these systems integrate with the practice style that you're in? How would they integrate with somebody who's going out on their own and doing their own thing? If you can speak a little bit on those 2 things, that'd be great. So let's dive right into the incredible, amazing product. How do you, where does the product information come from? And how do you know you have a good one when you have it?
Yeah, man. So in my opinion, and from my background in what got me into chiropractic and what I see as chiropractic being in its history, is the product of chiropractic is the adjustment. That is our core product, and that is the product that separates us really from all other health entities. Like, yes, physical therapists are starting to adjust. Yes, osteopaths are adjusting. Yes, there are actually medical doctors and athletic trainers who are starting to adjust. But as chiropractors, like, that is our one differential. So if we're not the best chiropractic adjusters, what are we the best at? And so in my opinion, having the best product means being the best at your technique or your art or your adjusting that you possibly can. And I like to think of this, I was on a bike ride yesterday and I went down the street and there's this restaurant that has burgers, breakfast, Chinese food, and donuts. And you might think to yourself, hell yeah, I want a donut after my burger and some Chinese food because I like all those things. But the reality is, like, can you name a restaurant chain or the best restaurant in your community that serves donuts, Chinese food, burgers, and whatever else it is? Like, trying to be a master of all rather than being a master of one, what do you think is going to be more successful? And so in my opinion, in the chiropractic profession, that is the chiropractic adjustment. So our core business, our core mission with the chiropractic service is helping chiropractors develop their art, to develop their bodies to handle being able to see thousands of people over the lifetime, to be able to be efficient chiropractic adjusters before they even get into clinic. And so that's what Kairos training culture does. And so we've done over 70 camps in the last few years. We've served over 4,000 students and chiropractors who have trained the chiropractic adjustment. We have over 1,200 online videos to help chiropractic adjusters and docs, or chiropractic students and docs train. So, like, how do you develop your product? It's really not it's no different than anything else. Like, you have to train it, right? And so, like, what would you need to do if you wanted to learn how to play the guitar? You'd spend hours and hours and hours learning new things and how to become a great guitar player. What would you do if you wanted to be a really good painter or artist? You'd probably put lots and lots of time and effort into developing your art and learning other strategies and techniques and ways to become a better artist. And so it's like the exact same thing is for chiropractic. And the sooner you can start, like, we have people even before they are in chiropractic school attending our training camps, and people who are entering their first quarters who are phenomenal adjusters, man. I'm just like, if you can spend 10,000 hours or do 10,000 adjusting strikes before you even get into student clinic, you're probably going to have a pretty badass product. And the reality is, like, we've been to 20 schools in the last few years, and so we get an idea of what's going on each campus. We get an idea of the communication that a lot of the student doc, pod docs or clinic docs are saying. It's like the people who are putting the most amount of time into developing their skill set as a chiropractor are the ones that they want in their group. They're the ones that they want in their pod. They're the ones that they're going to transfer existing patients and new patients into. It's like, how can you do that before you're in clinic? You have to train it. And so there's clubs and there's online resources and there's tons of seminars. It's like, you got to dive all in, man. So it's like the product itself, in my opinion, is the adjustment.
Awesome. I absolutely agree with you. I think that it is the number one thing that we have to offer the community, ourselves, and that's why we go to chiropractic school, is to be able to adjust. And that is, it's not a manipulation, it's not any of this stuff, it's an adjustment. It is specific to remove vertebral subluxations from the spinal column. That is what it is. So it's like, if you aren't good at that, or if you don't recognize that, rather, I'll change my wording there. If you don't recognize that and how important it is early on in chiropractic school, like, you have another thing coming, right? And that's where I think Kairos training culture comes in, and exactly what you said. And I circled actually the meaning and the word art, because art is more than a product, right? Art is more than a product. Art has meaning and value behind it, right? And so it's a process. It's not only bringing to the table everything that you have for that specific patient at that specific time, but it's also being able to, not just do one adjustment on this patient, do anything that is in your tool belt that you're able to assist them with and that you have to offer them. And I think that's most important when it comes to the art and what you guys are training students to do. And I don't know if people heard those numbers. I don't know if I caught the video amount. I think you said 400 or something like that. But like they've done over 70 camps. They've trained over 4,000 chiropractic students, and you have over 400 online videos and tutorials to help doctors as well as students learn to adjust and how to be better at honing their skill and their art. I think that's amazing. So,
at least over 1,200 videos. Something that you said that brought something to my mind is, like, I think there's a lot of myths in the chiropractic profession, and one of those myths is that you're going to not be a good adjuster until you're like 5 to 10 years in practice. Huge myth. Like, we're having people who are graduating chiropractic school who are some of the most skilled chiropractors I've ever witnessed. And we've been to a lot of different seminars and seen a lot of adjusting videos. We've met a lot of chiropractors, and so it's like, these are the people who are putting in the work. Another myth is to, as a student, to say that I'm going to learn how to adjust by going on a mission trip. Hear this all the time. Like, those people, when you go to Haiti or to some other country, don't deserve a highest quality adjustment already. Like, they're the practice dummies that you have in your school that you're just going to go and wail on. Like, those are the people I'm going to go practice on, so that when I come back in the student clinic, now I have a skill set that I can provide to the people here. Like, that to me is complete BS, and I think that you do not need to do that. You should, in my opinion, I'm going to shit on people, you should be practicing your art so much that then you go to these other countries to give a high quality service to the best of your abilities to these people. They're not people to practice on. And then the next myth is, I just forgot it. I had a brain fart. There were three. I had thought of three. It might come back to me in a second.
That's totally fine. Yeah, if it comes back to you, just let us know. Oh yeah, here we go.
Man, it's shone through the light that's in my face here. So the next thing is the difference between technique and art. So you started to talk about how your art, like, you can hopefully have this skill set of multiple different techniques in your tool belt to start to help other people regardless of what comes in. And so in my opinion, art is the self-expression of multiple techniques and your personal touch to help the unique individual on your table. The difference between that and technique is something that you have learned as a framework for when I see this, I do this. And so that is something that is more of something that you're following based on a set of principles or guidelines or something you've seen another doc do in the past. But the difference between technique and artistry is you're taking all these techniques that you can become proficient in, and you're utilizing them when they're being called to be utilized based on the person that's coming in. So that, in our opinion, is what we mean by art.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you actually expanded on that, because I knew where I was going with it, but you said it better than I could have said it. So I'm glad that we talked about the product, Doc. The product is the adjustment. The product is the art. The product is the training that leads up to what chiropractors are meant to do, and that is to adjust the patients on their table. And so now, how does a patient get there? So let's talk about the communication component, right? How do you become a great communicator, and what are we to communicate in order to better serve our communities?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great point, man. And I want to say also that as a business owner, I also understand that you can provide more products than just the adjustment, right? So, I mean, at the Source Chiropractic, we've made a $1 million per year practice off of only charging for the initial exam and only for the adjustment. Cash-based, that's it. So you can develop a practice off of only adjusting. And to reach other levels, while also having the same amount of time sets, you can start to add in different products, right? But the core product is adjustment. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the communication piece, it's thinking about the communication based on your ideal client's needs and wants and desires and pain points, and how would they most react and respond to your communication. So if your person responds to more of an analytical, mechanistic, research-based type of approach, so maybe this is like a medical doctor that you're communicating with, that might be a great way to communicate to that person. But in the reality is that's not a very high population. And so if you're wanting to communicate with a specific target market, you have to go through like a patient or ideal client avatar in which you're looking at like, what kind of groups is this person hanging out with? What is the type of sites that they're visiting? What kind of communication are they already having with their spouses? What are they searching when they're looking up chiropractors in your area? How are they looking for helping some sort of ailments, and then like reframing your communication based on what they're saying? So as a student out there and all the docs, I want to give you a huge piece of advice. This is something that we've only ever shared in some of our Kairos Business Master groups, but this one line could change your entire experience in clinic and your entire experience as a doc. And that line is, I'm interested in hearing what your current understanding of chiropractic is. I'm interested in actually being interested in hearing what your current understanding of chiropractic is. And so as a student doc or in clinic, most likely you're going to be passed down all these other patients who have gone through maybe 5, 20, 50 other students. And it's super easy for us as an excited new student doc to want to just explode everything we love about chiropractic and how chiropractic can help these people. And the reality is the majority of the time, it's all going over there, right? And so if you can get an understanding of what their current understanding of chiropractic is, then you know how to frame your education. You know how to frame your dialogue on a per visit basis. And you know how to frame your online marketing, your email marketing, your social media posts. with videos you create for YouTube. It's like having an idea of what your ideal client's current understanding of chiropractic is, what words would they use, then you know how to frame your communication in an effective way.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to pick up, I took great notes there. That was fun. Because that is a really good point. And I want to tie this all to meeting the patient where they're at, right? It helps bring the level of understanding to a mutual understanding, right? It's like, okay, this is, you know where I'm at because I went to school and did all this, but it's like at the same time, you're coming to me for help. Therefore, we need to be on the same level and on the same page if we're going to progress anywhere with your care. So that's the most important thing, and I love that line. I'm interested in your current understanding of what chiropractic is, because automatically, right after that, it puts them it puts you on their level. And you know exactly if someone starts describing to you what a subluxation is and you know how the nervous system works and all of that stuff, great. You know that you can communicate at that level. But if they are like, I have no idea, I'm here for my low back pain, this is all, get me out of pain, that's it, that's all I want. And now you know that that's where you have to start, right? Like those are the foundational steps. So I absolutely love that. And the second thing I picked up on was you said ideal client. And I want to actually dive into that a little further because an ideal client in business and in chiropractic are the same thing. You have to know who you are talking to at all times. And then you said something very, very, very important. That was you have to pick up on their pain points, right? What are people who is in your ideal demographic or your ideal client? Who is that person and what are they struggling with that you can then insert yourself and help them with? So like if they're athletic people and you can show them stretches or whatever and you can produce videos and that's your YouTube content, that's your email content, that's your marketing content, everything that you said. So talk to us a little bit about how to craft the ideal client in your mind, because I know you guys teach some of this in the Business Mastery and I don't want to take away any value from that. So just share what you can with us about how to really hone in on your ideal client and understanding that.
Yeah, man. I'm an open book. I'm open to share anything. And one of the things with Kairos Business Mastery is we over-deliver with everything. So I'm going to share as much as I possibly can, and there's always more, right? But the thing with pain points, when you said that, I was like, I can't believe I just said that. But the reason why I say that is because I think in chiropractic, pain points is often used as a method of manipulation.
Right.
So it's like the whole turning a pea into a pumpkin thing. It's like, oh, your neck hurts? Your neck hurts? You must be dying. You can't talk to your spouse. You aren't able to play with your kids anymore. You're probably not even able to look in your blind spots. You're probably going to have a crash soon. It's like authentic pain points versus manipulative pain points.
Yes.
And I will say, I don't think connecting on pain points is really that necessary in a day one, day two process.
Right.
But I do think it's very necessary for social media and marketing and email marketing and video production, because the time frame where you can grab somebody's attention is so short. But when you're there one-on-one, I think authenticity, vulnerability, and connecting really with the person as a person and hearing them is probably more important than connecting to pain points. But with that, I would say like a big way to frame it would be, who is my ideal client? What is it that I'm hoping to serve with them? Does that match what their current biggest needs are? And what is their external desire and their internal desire? So you could say that, so just use that neck example. They could be, they have neck pain, they want to get out of neck pain. That would be an external desire. What they need is a chiropractor to help them get out of neck pain. But really the internal desire is that their neck pain is not allowing them to sleep. And sleep is the biggest strategy for recuperation they have. Their neck pain, they go home and they're not able to play with their kid because of their neck pain. If you can subconsciously tap into that internal desire while connecting to the external desire, then you're going to be able to sell people on a much easier level and connect people on an easier level. And then how you frame what you're providing would be, okay, this person's looking for a chiropractor, they have neck pain. Really what they're wanting is to be able to play with their kids and to get home and not be in agonizing pain. So this might be, let's see, what would I do? It'd be something like, so if you've been dealing with neck pain and you have been looking for a chiropractor, I want to provide an opportunity for you to come in and see a chiropractor. Often people come in with neck pain. Really what they're sharing with me is that they really are not able to go home and feel their true authentic self. They're not able to look their kid in the eye and be able to play with their kids and have that sense of love and connection with their children. But first what we need to do is get to the root cause of what your neck pain is. And so that once we can help you improve your neck pain, then you can be able to play with your kids again. Something along the lines of that. But like, what are they looking for? What's the external desire, internal desire? How can you frame your offering to help meet that?
Yes, absolutely. And I like how you corrected me. And I don't know if you said it or I said it, pain points. But anyways, I like how you said it's more for like, because you do have limited time to grab someone's attention on social media or in marketing in general, right? And so using those things like, hey, here are the things you're struggling with, here are the things we can help with, boom, that, it's an easy go-getter, and it's not, you don't, like, I like how you differentiated, you said authentic versus, manipulative, and obviously go for the authentic all day,
that's
right?
The big thing, man. And especially from millennial generation, like, we've been inundated by so much bullshit for so long, and like the sleazy car salesman type of mentality that now, like, what we crave the most is honesty and vulnerability and people showing like their authentic self, their emotional self, and connection,
Yeah.
I get that people aren't getting that anywhere else.
Absolutely. And if you can provide that for them and to them, why not? And I love that you said external and internal desires and connecting the two, because bridging that gap for somebody, yep, and saying, no matter what, if it's ADLs, extended ADLs, like if you want to go into specifics about it, like if you want to get back on the golf course, right? Like, let's get to the root cause of what brought you in here first, and then we're going to start tracking your goals, because your goals are a part of the care plan, and that's the connection you have to make. Like, then they're a part of it, right? Then they're like, I want to get back on the field, or I want to, get back on the course, or I want to play with my kids. I want to get on the ground. And I've been shadowing now my peak doctor, and I go into his office every Tuesday, and it's amazing the amount of people that come in, and like the grandmothers and grandparents that come in, and they're like, oh, I'm so glad to be here. Like, I can get on the ground with my kids or my grandkids and like play with them and everything. And that to me is like, that's why they're there. That's why they come back, right? It's to help with those things that because you were able to break down the first educational barrier and then step into the second one. That's like, this is really about your health, your longevity, your well-being, and that's what this is about. So that's really cool, Doc. I'm so glad. That was awesome. So amazing product, amazing communicator. Now we have the patient on the table. Now we got to process it, right? We got to process the whole thing. So what are great systems? Like, tell me all of them. No, like, what kind of things can we do to take those initial steps to creating great systems? And when a system does work well, what does that look like?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for all the insights that you're providing with all that stuff. The systems piece is going to differentiate regardless of where you're at. And so we want to be able to, something I created that I just thought of was a PDF worksheet that people can use to help see what their ideal healing results are they want to achieve in practice. What is your ideal client, and also how do you want to communicate that? And so if people want that, that's a free resource that we can give them. But for the systems point, a lot of people as students look at the students' clinic systems as a hurdle that they have to jump through. Like, they are not happy about all these systems. And it's a really deterrent from people coming into the office, too, if it's going to take 4 hours for initial exam, and then every single office visit is going to take an hour as well, right? And so there were very specific systems that Dr. Brett Jones used, that I used, that some of our other current associates used, because we kind of kept it in-house. But, Brett broke the record for most number of patients seen at Life West Student Center. I graduated a quarter early, or finished my requirements a quarter early, and then Dr. Austin Ivins, who's in our office, broke Dr. Brett's record. And so it's like, what can we do to do this? We all have very similar strategies while we're in school. And the main strategy really is to first get your shit done as fast as possible. And that might seem like, oh yeah, duh. But there's so many people who they first get their like student intern and they'll wait, they get assigned their student intern on a Monday. They wait until the following Monday to start to do the exam process. Like, no, I'm getting in there as soon as I possibly can. We're hammering getting our stuff done as fast as possible, because I know that if I'm the first one that gets my stuff done possible, then I'm going to be the first one that starts to get the doc shadowing me to get my adjustment requirements done. I'm going to be the first one that then can take the test to go into the outpatient center first. It's like, just get your stuff done as fast as possible. Stop talking about how long it's going to take and just do all of the work, right? And then the next biggest thing is take a look at everything that's required from the exam process, from your progress exam process, because you have to do all these different orthopedic tests. You have to do ranges of motion, you have to do strength testing, you have to do neurological testing, you have to do all these different things. And one of the biggest things that takes a long time is, I'm standing, now I'm prone, now I'm supine, now I'm sitting, now I'm standing again, now I'm prone, now I'm supine. It's like, if you can look at all the things you have to do that are just standing, knock those out as fast as possible. Then here's all the stuff I'm doing sitting. Knock those out as fast as possible. Then this is what they're doing prone. This is supine. Then supine. It's like, it's not going to be organized like that for you. So be proactive and look at how can I possibly maximize this as fast as I possibly can. And so you might be able to save 20 minutes every single time you do a progress exam or a new patient exam. So you can fit in a whole another exam for that day. And then for the actual process, like at a higher level, maybe you're a very influential person in your school, attractive character that other people want to learn from. Is there a way that you can get other students involved, some lower quarter students involved, or a new student clinic person involved? And can they start to help out me with some note taking, or with helping you learn the process of doing some of the notes and plan setting for everything? It's like, look for effective strategies to create the system, because they're not going to give them to you in the student clinic. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to being a doc, hopefully the biggest takeaway I want to talk about is more docs needing to have systems that reflect the value that they provide to their community. A couple weeks ago, I was hanging out with a doc who's a very good friend of mine, and he's bounced between practice in LA and then San Diego and then the Central Valley and all over these different places. And he's one of the most proficient adjusters and rehab people I've ever met. And he gets 40 to 60 new patients every single month, but he's not charging for a new patient exam. And his visit average is about 2 to 3 visits.
Wow.
And so he's constantly in that infancy stage of his business where he has a new patient problem. And I was like, dude, what are you doing during your new patient exam? He's like, bop, 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 value, stack. And he's giving it away for free. And there's reasons for that. And he's awesome that he's saying, 40 to 60 new patients. And we have a lot of vanity metrics in our profession. It's like, yeah, you're seeing 40 to 60 new patient visits, and you're not charging for them, and they're not sticking with care. I was like, well, let's see how we can start to implement some strategies in your systems to, yes, maybe if you charge $200 for your initial exam, you'll only get 10 new patients in a month, but then they stay for 6 months of care, right? So how can you look at what you're currently doing and ask yourself, is the value I'm providing for this person right now reflective of the value I actually give to this person in the community?
Yeah.
Or is they're not charging on a monetary level, right? Mm-hmm. And then the systems level, one of the things we promote, and that comes from this idea of authenticity and being able to connect with people on a needs-based level, is understanding that not every person needs the same amount of care. So a lot of business groups out there will all kind of say every single person that comes in, if you're more of a structural or degenerative model type of care, every person is going to be seen 3 times a week for 3 months or 6 months or 1 year.
Yep.
And it's like not looking at the differences of each person. So one of the things that we do differently instead is a functional based approach. It's like understanding that your function is probably different than if I were to see my grandpa. Right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, how can you create systems in your business that reflect the uniqueness of every single person that's coming in? And that's going to help everything on a communication level, from your conversion levels, everything, man.
Yeah. And you nailed it again. Like this is what it is. So product, communication, great systems. If you are proficient and amazing at all of those things, and you're a chiropractor, like, you can't go wrong. Like, this episode, going back and watching this episode again and again and again, is the smartest thing you could possibly do. I want to mention, I dropped the link in on the screen down below. It's kairosbusinessmastery.com/start. Head there. Dr. Jordan is giving away, it's like a cheat sheet to start kind of mastering and masterminding, I guess, your ideal client, what that looks like. What does your process look like of who you want to serve and how you want to serve them? And then, so with great systems, I like how you broke it down, Doc. You were like, here it is for students, right? Master these systems for students because they don't give them to you. And then they give you some janky EHR system, and then you got to go figure it out and run with the, horses there. And then you have to, and then you gave the doc explanation of like, this is the best thing to do as a doc, and here are the couple things that we can do. So to recap, students, get your shit done. Like, number one, like, get it done fast, get it done efficiently, and that was a big component to me. Also, is like the efficiency factor of it, right? All of your orthopedic tests that are face down or prone, start doing them and do them together, group them together, right? Neurological testing, standing, supine, all of this stuff. Figure out what works best for the test that is being asked of you to do, and put them all together. I like how you said that. Clump them together so that it makes it most efficient for you. You save 20 minutes on the back end, if not more than that, and then you have time to do more physical exams throughout the day. And so that was awesome. So be efficient, get your stuff done for students. And then for docs, I like what you said. More docs need systems that show the value of what they offer, and really emphasizing kind of the monetization of it, or the monetary component of it. And it's like, how much is what you're doing for that patient? How much is that worth in regard to, surrounding chiropractors, to yourself, to chiropractic in general, and the offerings that you are delivering. But know that stuff, know those things, and these systems will guide you, and they will guide your patients, and they will make your life a heck of a lot easier. And then the last one was the functional thing. So like, you were like, hey, don't, you usually, like you said in most chiropractic offices, it's like, we have three care plans, boom, 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 best one's in the middle, circle that one, go with it, run with it, and that's how most chiropractic offices are run. But if you're more on the functional model and understanding, like, an 89-year-old's function is a little bit different than a 25-year-old's function, like, that's a totally different story. So that was really cool. I like how you said that, and I really, really appreciate you breaking down these things. Do you have any last things to say on those 3 topics that we talked about tonight?
I think also a piece that came up was also being honest with yourself about how much are you charging monetary wise, with how much service are you providing, and how much time are you spending. And so it's like, this is going to be different for everybody. The value that you provide to each person is going to be, does what you're charging for this person reflect that? And so I might do a chiropractic adjustment. It takes 7 minutes, a little bit of myofascial work, and I'll charge $65 for the visit. Somebody else might do some myofascial work. They'll do some heat and stim and give them some exercises, and they'll spend 30 minutes on doing some myofascial and massage or ART work, and they'll charge $65 a visit.
Right.
I can see how many people per hour if I'm seeing somebody for 7 minutes versus somebody who's seeing them for 30 to 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're seeing somebody for 30 to 45 minutes and you're providing all these other services as well, like, charge a value that is reflective of that service, right? And so just some internal thoughts for some docs out there as well. Just be honest with the service you provide, man, is so life-changing. It changed my life. I know you see so many people whose lives it changes every day. So charge a price that is reflective of that.
Absolutely, yeah. And last but not least, Doc, I love closing the show out. We've been going for about 45 minutes now. And I want to close the show out with a little bit of how people can better reach out to you and get to know you a little bit better, or get to know a little bit more about Kairos training culture and all the things that you guys offer. So what are the best ways to contact you, and what are some of the programs that you guys have running right now?
Yeah, so the best way to contact me is Facebook. I have a social media problem, so go to anywhere Dr. Jordan Fairley on the social media. I got a doctor page and my personal page. Kairos training culture is the main thing I would love everybody to get involved with. We've been hearing amazing testimonials from docs who are starting to attend their first training camps. If you're a student, there's clubs on 20 different campuses. And so I know you're at LifeView. We've had 130 people training at 5:30 in the morning at the beginning of your guys' last quarter at LifeView. Join a club, go to a training camp, start to work on your product. If you're already proficient in the product part, is your communication really efficient? And then are your systems really efficient? So everybody might be in a different tier of where they're at in their process. You can find me in social media. And if you need help with anything, I'm always an open book. Something that Dr. Brett Jones and I filmed a few weeks ago, which we haven't done anything with, we've just been sitting on it, is a How to Crush It in Student Clinic program. And this is something that we're wanting to give people to either free or maybe like $5 to $10. And the reason why we want to either just give it to people or give it away for free is because ultimately we recognize that most people are not quite looking at business yet because they have to go through clinic. Mm-hmm. And so how can you get through clinic as fast as possible so you can hopefully give yourself that last trimester or that last quarter of time to then really focus on business? Because the reality is we have so many people who are graduating chiropractic school and then they're taking 6 months off to go travel around the world. Like, you just spent $200,000 and you've spent 3 years waiting to become a chiropractor, and now you're going to go travel. And the reality is you also have to start paying your student loans back 6 months after graduating. And so if you could get the business focus started before you even graduate and hit the ground running by the time you get licensed, you're going to already start to be in a position that where you can start to pay off those $2,000 a month student loan repayments within 6 months after graduating. You can start to go on vacations within your first year or second year of opening up your own business, but hit the ground running as fast as possible, and that starts first with crushing student clinic.
Yes.
So if anybody wants us to produce that, we're sitting on it right now because we're working on a bunch of other stuff. But if you want to do that, if you're interested, leave your favorite GIF below. Let's see, craziest GIF wins. The more GIFs, the better. The more GIFs, then we'll actually create that program and give it to you guys.
I love it. So if you didn't hear that, chiropractic students, they are working on, or sitting on rather, they have it done. They just have to release it rather, and tweak probably some things and edit it a little bit. But a How to Crush It in Student Clinic like guide of video series. And so please drop, like Dr. Jordan said, I like that, drop the GIFs, do whatever you have to do to comment to see if you're interested in that, and they will they'll announce when they release that for you. So Doc, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on tonight. I know we had a couple of microphone issues at the beginning. I hope when I go back and rewatch this, it's prime time, but you never know. I don't know these things. It's live, it's technology, and it happens. But thank you so much for being on, Doc. Everyone head to thelegendarychiropractor.com to check out all things chiropractic. And we are a jack of all trades and a master of all trades. I'm just gonna change the slogan. But no, we love helping chiropractic students, and we absolutely love helping as many people as we can in this chiropractic profession, because the students are what is the future. And so we need to take care of the student population, and we need to better serve the students in chiropractic school, which is why I love interviewing you, which is why I love interviewing Dr. Brett Jones and any other person that is all 100% student advocates, because that is what it's all about. We've all been there before, right? You've all been there before, but now it's time to give back and serve at a different level and a bigger level. So, Doc, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight, and we'll be sure to share this all over the internet and make sure it goes as viral as it possibly can. So thank you, guys. Thanks, Dr. Jordan. Any last remarks?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. Like, you are a shining example of a path that students can go through and showing a path of success even before you graduate.
Wow.
So keep crushing what you're doing, man. It's awesome to see your energy, and I love and appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.